Hello trainers, and welcome back to another tabletop gameplay video with Project Artemis. I'm Riley, and today we're going to be playing some games with the new Mega Charizard YEX card that is coming out in the Ascended Heroes set this month. I've been looking forward to this card for a while now. It's very powerful. Let's go over it real quick. So it is a Mega Pokemon. Takes 3 prize cards when it gets knocked out, but it is stage 2 with 360 HP and has 1 attack. The 1 attack being very powerful though. Explosion Y. Discard 3 energy from this Pokemon. This attack does 280 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon. Now this can be any Pokemon on the bench as well. It does cost 2 fires and a colorless energy, so it's not too easy to set up, but there are a couple ways we can do it. There's the Oricorio EX that came out in Phantasmal Flames, but we don't want to put that in play, so we can just rely on our good old buddy Charizard EX from Obsidian Flames with Infernal Rain ability, the one that accelerates 3 fires from your deck onto any of your Pokemon. So that seems like a great partner. I've been looking at a lot of deck lists online from Japan, and it seems like this card has been doing particularly well in the old Lilies version of Charizard, not the Noctowl Dawn version. So you get to take advantage of the Maximum Belt and Ignition Energy as well in this build, which I think is pretty cool actually. With Maximum Belt, you can get numbers up to 330 without even needing to use a Dusknoir if you want to knock out the opponent's active, which means you can 1-hit KO your opponent's Charizard before there are 5 prize cards, which is a huge deal, right? So yeah, we're gonna be playing this version, not the Noctowl one for now. I think, yeah, the Ignition Energy is a really great inclusion because you can use that as the discard effect instead of discarding all 3 fires, and then you can set up like 2 fires and Ignition and then have back-to-back Charizard Y 1-hit KOs if you want. And I think it's a little bit easier to recycle as well with the Super Rods versus in the Noctowl version, but you know, it could be played in there as well. So anyways, today we're going to be playing some games against my buddy Preston. He's been doing really well. Last season he got top 32 at the Anaheim World Championships, and we're going to be playing against some Dragapult and as well as the mirror match, or I guess another Charizard. And I thought that the matchup would get a lot better with Charizard Y, but we basically spent like an hour and a half playing like 6 or 7 games against Dragapult, and I got literally obliterated in all of them. It's still just as bad if you're getting Itchy Paw, and even with the TM Evos, I just kept getting wiped of my Charmanders over and over, and even the Charizard Y is pretty hard to set up because to use the Ignition you need to have 2 fires on it as well. So that requires you to have a lot of Charmanders on the bench. Yeah, didn't work out too well. However, we have some really interesting games of the Noctowl Dawn matchup. Their Charizard Y absolutely wrecks, and I'm super excited to show you. So let's skip all this Dragapult nonsense and skip to that.
Hi folks, Sable here from Project Artemis. I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you to our sponsor Heavy Play for sponsoring the team and showcase off a few of their wonderful products that they make. Starting off, we have their Deck Box RFG Max. This is a wonderful little magnetic deck box, flip alcove with a picture display for you to showcase your favorite card. We also have their Dice Box RFG. What's nice about this is it magnetizes to itself, so that is not moving. You don't have to worry about like accidentally knocking over your dice tray or anything. It also magnetizes to Deck Box. Their full system is entirely magnetic, so you can Dice Box to Dice Box, Deck Box to Deck Box, Deck Box to Dice Box here. And even going one step further, they have a foldable magnetized playmat. So instead of rolling things up, this folds up nice and flat. You can throw it in your backpack real easy. And then your dice box also will magnetize to it. Keep your dice box on there. Keep it on your playmat nice and flat there in the corner. And that thing is not moving. Once again, we just want to say thank you to Heavy Play. If you're interested in any of the products seen here, please go to heavyplay.com/Artemis. or use code Artemis at checkout for 10% off your order. They have red, blue, black, white, gray, green, purple, a whole bevy of colors in their entire suite for you to use to your heart's content. We really do recommend you checking out their product. Anyway, back to the video.
Alright, let's jump into our first game here against the Dawn Charizard with our Lilizard version. And right off the bat, don't actually have more than one Pokemon, and I can't even play the supporter I get from Tatsugiri here. So I do know that Fan Rotom is a really big for the Dawn Charizard deck, so I just want to shove Klefki in the active as much as possible and hope that he has a lackluster setup, and then hopefully I'll be able to buy myself some time and then get a setup going from there, because I can always Lily and get a Poffin and Team Evo on the following turn. But Preston's got like a ridiculously good hand for not even needing to fan call. Since I play the stadium, he can just put Jet in the Fan Rotom and knock out my Klefki. I already have Charmander, Pidgey, Hoodoo on the bench. So now if he just gets a Terra and a Noctowl or a Dawn, he's going to be in business. So I actually missed the TM Evolution here, which is kind of unfortunate because now I'm really reliant on rare candies for the rest of the game. And I only played 3 rare candies in this list. So we're just gonna have to pass and let Preston take another prize card on us. So we're gonna be down 4-6, and it's gonna be pretty annoying. But I'm hoping that Preston can't really do much, but somehow he just has Candy Pidgeot, of course, and quick searches for Dawn into getting Noctowl set up. He can make Candy Charizard, expand his bench a little bit, gets the energies loaded up, and he's having a ridiculously good setup. I'm starting to remember why I have been playing the Dawn version recently, but I think it's still fine. This deck is still really, really good. We should be able to make a comeback from here. We are going to be dependent on finding a lot of rare candies this turn, though, and I didn't want to take the risk of playing Lilies and just like not drawing any of them, so I just ended up guaranteeing Irvin for Candy Pidgeot, and then since I had all my stage 2s in my hand, right, I can grab a second candy off that Pidgeot to make a Charizard. But the unfortunate part is I can't evolve this second Charmander into Charizard Y EX to protect it or attack with it, because in this situation I could theoretically snipe the Pidgeot off his board, and if he doesn't have anything, then that should be put us in a really good spot to win this game. But now can't even bench another Charmander here. Also, I do want to make a quick note that the Charizard SIR in my hand from Obsidian Flames is actually meant to be a proxy for Charizard Y EX, since the set hadn't come out when we recorded this. Yeah, but it's like if I could have benched another Charmander, I wouldn't have loaded all this energy up. I wouldn't put 2 extra energies on this Charmander here, because if he just goes like Candy Charmander plus knock out a Duskull, now I'd have to find Super Rod and like bench 2 Charmanders next turn if I want to knock out attack with potentially Charizard EX or Charizard Y EX. But yeah, so now I'm like concerned because one Noctowl could get him there with just Candy and Dawn, and there's a Noctowl. So if he just knocks out the Charmander off the bench and then punches our third, we're gonna be in a pretty tough spot, because the following turn he should be able to like pop another Dusknoir and potentially Briar us for game, or just like there's so many possibilities with this deck. And somehow without fan calling, Preston just had literally every single card he needs in his hand, which is, I mean, that's pretty good for being able to draw into all that. And this list does play a Jamming Tower. This is the list that we've been testing for Toronto, and we like the Jamming Tower inclusion. The unfortunate part about the Jamming Tower here actually is that my Lilizard deck only plays 1 stadium, and I had to use that 1 stadium on turn 1 to get the Team Evo out of my deck. So now we can't actually ever bump this Jamming Tower to be able to use our maximum belt. It's actually just not leaving play unless I Blustery Wind here, which is what I end up going for. But yeah, it's pretty annoying and quite unfortunate that we have to deal with this situation here. Whereas I could have popped the Dusclops, knocked out the active, and then forced a lot more out of Preston this turn, but I just go in with the Blustery Wind, discard that Stadium so I can use my max belt later, but this does open still. I'm pretty sure that, yeah, this is just game on board actually for Preston. Just Dusknoirs my Charizard that is already damaged, and then can Dusclops the active and take all 4 prizes. So yeah, pretty crazy setup there from Preston, but we didn't even get to see the power of Charizard Y yet, but we'll have some really good gameplay with that in the next one. Alright, getting into game number 2 here. I naturally start Klefki, which is amazing, obviously. Turns off Fan Rotom from Preston. Let's see how bit of a start he has this time. I don't get a Charmander down, but it's not that big of a deal because he can't really do anything to me turn 1, I guess, unless he has literally Area 0, Fan, Rotom, and Jet Energy again. But yeah, looks like not much going on. So we're just gonna Lily, and ideally we draw into TM Evo, or maybe we can Candy Pidgeot. And we draw actually pretty well here. Get the Team Evo, the Candy Pidgeot, and now we can just quick search for a Poffin and get some Charmanders down, and then we can Team Evo. I think I Team Evo into Dusclops and Charmeleon here. I don't see a reason to get double Charmeleon because we want to put more pressure on with the Dusknoirs if we can in this game. And getting, I mean, Charmeleons are nice, but I can always do that next turn. My Charizard is going to be under no threat this turn. So based on what Preston does this turn, assuming he only gets like 1 Charmander, we can Dusknoir that Charmander. Or if there's like only 1 Hoodoo, we can knock that out. Plus start carrying stuff. I mean, the Terapagos actually can't be knocked out by Charizard unless I Dusclops the active. However, we can get the maximum belt if we want to knock out Terapagos. But Preston makes a pretty good call for family play here to make up for the lack of Fan Rotom earlier, and gets down double Charmander. So it'll be a little bit difficult to wipe him of Charmanders here. I'd have to get Dusknoir and Boss and Charizard. I think it was just 1 card away. But I think it's still really good to go for just a Dusknoir to knock out the Hoodoo in this situation, because that is the only like source of draw you have. And that deck, after having played it a bunch, I know it relies a lot on the combo power of Noctowl. 1 quick search isn't just enough. For the Lily version, the quick search can be enough because you also see 8 cards in the early turns every single time, so you have a lot of options. However, with the Noctowl one, you're really reliant on getting your Hoodoos to get your combo pieces as well. So sometimes it's more important to target the Noctowls than it is to target the Pidgey. And I'm also able to get Super Rod to put the Duskull back in my deck, the whole Duskull line, and then I get double Duskulls down, so we can apply a lot more pressure on the following turn. So I'm really liking this situation. We are already up to 4 prizes here, and I did give Preston 1, but I think we're in such a good spot here that, yeah, there's no Duskulls on the other side, no Hoodoos, so it'll be really hard for him to set up. He does Fez get some Hoodoos down in the Area 0, but I don't think there's much else going on here. So with the current hand we do have the Mega Charizard Y, so we can, depending on what Preston does here, we can actually go into a Charizard Y attack potentially. Actually, we would need 1 more turn for that, because we have to manually attach a fire, and then we have to attach another fire on the following turn since we don't have another Charmander in our bench. But we don't need to use a Charizard Y just yet. There's no Charizards coming down, so we're not really under too much pressure. And Preston does send up a sacrificial Duskull here, but I think luckily it top decked that Dusknoir, which is pretty big, and we can Dusknoir the Charmander and quick search for boss on the other Charmander, and now we have no energies on the other side of the board, and an energy on our Charmeleon on the bench, which can become either a Charizard EX or a Mega Charizard Y, depending on whatever happens next turn. And there's also a Duskull on our bench, so we are really set up. We only need 2 more prize cards to win. Yeah, pretty commanding position here. Klefki definitely put in a lot of work. The game could have been a lot different if Preston had a better setup, of course, but yeah, I really do like the consistency that you get from the lilies are, just like not having to worry about the area 0. You're a little bit less volatile. Your combos are a little bit less explosive compared to the Noctowl, but your boards are a little bit more stable as well. Like we can get to an end game double Charizard Pidgeot checkmate here if needed. But Preston's gonna need at least 2 more turns before he can even make a Charizard. So yeah, he puts down the Jamming Tower, bumps some stuff, and looks like he's just gonna make a Dusknoir and send up an Ionowas, which is a good play. The Dusknoir shouldn't do anything if I take a prize card, but he's gonna send it up as a sacrificial prize card. And I do have Ultra Ball for Mega Charizard Y plus Quick Search for Ignition or any energy to knock out the Pidgeot EX off the bench. Yeah, love to see it. This is exactly what we're here for. Pidgeot's Lair, Charizard Y. Alright, getting into our third and final game here. Looks like Preston will be going first and does not have a Fan Rotom, which is pretty unfortunate considering I didn't even start Klefki this time. And our hand is actually pretty good. We start Tatsugiri. We have Energy, Poffin, and TM Evo, which is nice. Oh, sorry, we don't have the Energy yet, but we have the Poffin and the TM Evo, so hopefully we're able to hit one of our 9 energies from this Lily. We actually draw way more than enough energies, but we're able to find another Poffin as well, which is great. So now we can have full board set up, everything that we need. And we'll go ahead and Team Evo into the Pidgeotto and the Charmeleon. It is possible that he gets like, you know, boss or prime knockout on our Pidgeotto and we could be in some trouble here, but at least we'll have the Charizard. Let's see what Preston's able to do here. Our hand is actually like pretty, I mean, like luckily we have the Lily, but if we didn't have Lily, our hand would be like really bad. So ideally we'll be able to draw into a Pidgeot off this Lily and then get rolling from there. Looks like Preston is able to get it done and then go for a Charmander and Noctowl and get some more guys up. Goes double Poffin. We're just gonna go full bench, go wide here. He can't bench just one Charmander because if I have like Pidgeot, Charizard, and like boss, that would be pretty bad. Unfortunately, he doesn't even get an energy to knock out our Tatsugiri, so we're still gonna be even on prizes, which is good for us because when that thing gets going really fast, it can be a little bit tough sometimes. But unfortunately, off our Lily, we don't find an Ultra Ball, we don't find any way to get Pidgeot. But thankfully, the second Team Evo comes in clutch here because we can Evo the Pidgeotto into a Pidgeot EX, and then something else for next turn. And here I'm thinking about getting a Dusclops, but I think it's just safer to go for Charmeleon because we want to put less pressure on our rare candies to find our attackers, and rather have them for Dusknoirs if needed. Because since there's no Dusclops on Preston's side of the field, we know we'll just need just a Charizard and to evolve a Charmeleon instead of needing Candy plus Charizard to get an attack going. So here Preston's gonna go ahead and Dawn for the Charizard and the Charmeleon, and I think he's also gonna be able to make a Pidgeot this turn. So I think going wide is fine. It looks like he's not really gonna be able to put any pressure onto my bench, which is great. So we'll be able to, unless he goes for Prime Catcher, but I don't think he will. So he gets alright, double Candy, has an attack with Terapagos, has the Pidgeot and the Charizard set up. So I mean, he's got everything that he needs for this turn, but ideally you'd want also some Duskulls. And he has no Hoothoots for the following turn as well. So when I see this, actually thinking like, can I just knock out this Pidgeot and leave him with nothing and then deal with the rest of the attackers later? Because there's no Duskull, there's no threat of being 1-hit KO'd with the, my Mega Charizard Y. And there's no draw power on the other side either. I mean, there's a Fez, but that's not going to mean too much here. So I can Arven for an Ultra Ball and the Maximum Belt. And I can Ultra Ball for one of the Charizards and then Quick Search for the other Charizard. And with my Terra Charizard, I can power up 2 energies on each of these Charizards. With the Ignition Energy in my hand, I can power up Explosion Y to do 280 damage to the only draw power on Preston's bench, the Pidgeot EX, and take my first 2 prize cards, which is a really great position to be in. Now I still have the Maximum Belt as well, So if he wants to attack with Charizard EX, I can just attach an energy, attach a max spell, and 1 KO that. Or if he attacks with the Terapagos, I can also knock that out. This card is just so cool. Like, I don't know, before you'd have to like, I haven't even used the Duskull yet, and I'm able to swing that big. So yeah, I really like this. What a great position to be in. I mean, he hits me for 130, but with 360 HP, that's not even in Dusknoir range. So it's like a really good position to be in. At this point, I just want to deal with the only threat left on the board, which is Charizard. And without Noctowls and without Pidgeot, it's going to be really hard to recover the energy. So even if he makes a Charizard here, it's still going to be unlikely for him to even attack with the Charizard because a lot of energies are in the discard pile already. So there is one thing here actually I would lose to, and I probably should have done this a little bit differently, but I got a little bit too excited. I should have retreated the Charizard, Mega Charizard Y into the other Charizard, because the one play I do lose to is if somehow Preston has Candy, Dusknoir, Charizard, Super Rod or Night Stretcher, and Briar. He can Candy Dusknoir, knock something off my bench, Briar first, and then Dusknoir, take 1 prize, and then he can attack with Charizard EX to Burning Darkness to take 4 prizes on my Mega Charizard Y. So I would have lost to a 5 prize turn there, but with no drop power, with no Noctowls, with no Pidgey, it wasn't really going to be likely. But yeah, really cool. I love the literal explosive power of Charizard Y, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching this gameplay as well. I'm really excited to see if this card will actually be played at regionals and stuff for Ascended Heroes, but we'll have to wait for another month to see if that actually ends up happening. But for now, thank you guys for watching, and let me know if there's any other matchups or decks that you would like to see me test or play in future videos. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next one.